Hello all, this is my presentation on why we should use ePortfolios in the classroom. Specifically, I would like to discuss the use of the ePortfolio as an assessment tool for 9th grade math placement. I would like to start my presentation with some background. Previously, a formative placement test was given to all 8th grade students in the county. 9th grade math placement was based upon the scores on this single test. There was little room for teacher recommendation and no accounting for a student having a bad test day. When this became too cumbersome, we moved to using the West Virginia Summative Assessment Test and first and second marking period grades as our standard for 9th grade math placement. Again, we ran into bad test day issues and students opting out of the West Virginia Summative Assessment Test. I would like to suggest that we use an ePortfolio to fix this placement issue. In this presentation, we will hopefully begin to understand what an ePortfolio is, why we need to use an ePortfolio, who is going to use it, what we will use to create the ePortfolios, what the basic ePortfolio will look like, how the ePortfolio will be assessed, what type of feedback the students will receive, what benefits there are to using ePortfolios, and how we are going to grade the ePortfolios. Why use an ePortfolio? According to Boston University's website, an ePortfolio is a collection of work that provides a powerful and comprehensive digital resume of the multiple intelligences of an individual, as a linguist, an artist, a scientist, a mathematician, an athlete, a reflective learner, a self-learner, or a cooperative learner. The ePortfolio storage space features can be used as a depository for the student's work and a showcase for the student's best work. Another part of the ePortfolio is the reflection space. Students can use a blog feature to set goals, to reflect upon assignments, and to reflect about feelings and work through mental processes. This selection would be similar to a diary. According to the Boston University website, an ePortfolio is used in evaluating the learner's work using a variety of artifacts. These include graphics, pictures, multimedia, stories, journals, and projects. This provides a view into the individual's mind and capabilities as well as the teaching and learning environment. While the students are using the space for storage and reflection, we will be using the space for assessment. Assessment of the ePortfolio is twofold. Teachers can look at a student in a longitudinal view, where we can assess growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. We can also look at growth from year to year. Teachers can also assess a student longitudinally. We can see how a student has grown across the curriculum, what their interests are, what is important to the student, and why it is important. Who is going to use this portfolio? To start with, I would like to begin using the ePortfolio at the beginning of 7th grade. In 7th grade, we can begin to develop the ePortfolio. Set up the website, add artifacts, start self-reflections, add teacher feedback, and start assessing the portfolio. At the 8th grade level, we will continue with adding and removing artifacts, adding to the blogs and self-reflection areas, and continue with teacher feedback and assessment. While we are culminating the ePortfolio for assessment at the end of 8th grade, the ePortfolio can easily be adapted for future use. With additional artifacts added to the ePortfolio, we can begin to assess the ePortfolio for higher level math classes. We can use the ePortfolio for graduation requirements and even use it as a repository for college admissions. So now that we understand how we will use the ePortfolio, the next question is, where are we going to use to create the ePortfolio? After researching several sites, I believe that Google Sites is the best option for how we are using the ePortfolio. Most 7th and 8th grade students are more than capable of creating websites. At this age level, They should know how to upload artifacts and write online. The Google Sites application allows for students to create their own site and let their personality shine through their website while allowing for change as they grow older and tastes transform. Another point about Google Sites is the plethora of free apps that are available from Google. To use Google Sites, a user simply needs a Google account. These accounts are free. There are also free gadgets and widgets students can add to enhance their ePortfolio. Another important point is the ease of access. Any computer platform with internet access can use Google Sites. The application is easy to use and supports multiple users. That means that many people can access the same file, which encourages collaboration and group projects. A final point to note is that Google Sites uses cloud storage. Everything is stored in the cloud and not on the user's personal computer. What are these ePortfolios going to look like? There should be a home page, which would include some welcome to my ePortfolio and a brief description of who the student is. There should be an academic section where coursework and artifacts and high-stake test scores can be stored. The ePortfolio should include a self-reflection page where students can set long and short-term goals, along with a page or blog dedicated to self-reflections both on a personal and academic level. There should be a rubric page. Here the rubric for the entire portfolio should be placed, and other rubrics for some of the coursework the student is highlighting. And of course, there should be a page for teacher feedback. How are we going to assess this ePortfolio? We will look to Bloom's taxonomy for assessment. A rubric based upon Bloom's taxonomy will be created to assess this portfolio. The rubric should be set up to emphasize that students who want to be in the math STEM class should be the ones who are creating and evaluating math. Students who are analyzing and applying math need to be placed in the regular math class, and those who are simply understanding and remembering math facts should be placed in support classes. The rubric should affect these ideas. This Bloom's taxonomy rubric should be based upon the West Virginia Next Generation Mathematical Standards. These standards are met by looking at the student's collection of artifacts, self-reflections, and teacher feedback. There should also be a team of teachers assessing this portfolio. The team should include current and next-level teachers. Any feedback from a teacher or peer should be goal-referenced. That is the artifact reflective of the goal? Feedback should be tangible and actionable. Can the feedback help create a better artifact? Feedback should be user-friendly. Is the feedback something that can be understood and not overwhelming? Feedback must also be timely and ongoing. What are the benefits of creating an ePortfolio? Students can learn from the process. They can discover self-assessment through self-reflection. They can have a better understanding of self-awareness. The process creates an increase in self-esteem and self-confidence. Students will become active learners, and the students will become part of the teaching and learning process. Students will also learn from the product itself. Students will have a tool for their personal development. They will have a record of their learning. The ePortfolio is a tool for feedback. Students will be able to showcase their strengths and have a storage place for documentation and artifacts. How are we going to grade the ePortfolio? Ideally, there will not be a grade for the ePortfolio. The assessment team, comprised of 8th and 9th grade teachers, will use the rubric based upon Bloom's taxonomy to place the student in their ninth grade math classes, either STEM, regular, or support. Their math placement will be their grade. In summary, we are making steps of progress. We have gone from formative tests to summative tests to the penultimate goal of an ePortfolio to place the students in their 8th grade math classes. By creating ePortfolios, we are bringing the students into the 21st century learning.